them it's so for the broken. 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 Tell them it's so for the broken. Yeah. It's so for the broken. Yeah. It's so for the broken. Yeah. It's so for the broken. Boy, look around and need hope.
All right, welcome to the very first podcast.
The first one
of Healing Broken Souls. I'm here with John Boyanowski. My name is Benny Powell. And what we're here to do is to start discussing the topic of how to heal broken souls. And one thing that we started discussing, John, was what is a broken soul? How does a person identify with having that broken soul? So one of the things that I brought to the table was that a broken soul is someone that is torn between certain aspects of their life, and that's one of the things that I noticed.
And one of the things that I noticed, too, is there's a lot of broken souls out there that don't really realize that they're broken.
And that's true. We have a lot of broken souls, like we have a lot of people, what they call them, wounded soldiers walking around from the Army, not really healing the way that they should. And a lot of people really don't know that they have areas in their life that they need to address, get encouragement for, or even identify that there are problems in their lives.
You know, sometimes, you know, they grow up in this generation where, you know, they believe everything is normal for them. Mm-hmm. So they're watching their parents, they're watching them interact and fight and different things or whatever it is that they do. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're thinking, well, this is the normal for today's society, so they don't view themselves as being broken at all.
Yeah. And one of the things that I look at is like when me and you came together. You're from Boston, the Boston area. I'm from the Chicagoland area. Totally.
Go Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox, White Sox, all the way. Anyway, so one of the things that when we got together, I noticed that even though we were totally dissimilar, we were similar in a lot of ways, but I had some hurting issues.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, especially for men, being able to share thoughts and feelings and admit that they're broken and everything, it's really hard for us to be able to even begin to open up because some of us even know how.
Yeah, and so one of the things about Healing Broken Souls is going to be a platform for John and myself to talk about some things, but we're also going to be bringing in different guest speakers, male, female, in the church, out the church, working, not working, struggling, not struggling, happy, unhappy, and we're going to just be talking about some the various things that really are bothering a lot of people in their everyday life.
And we also want to find out from you guys, you know, what sort of things do you want to talk about? Because this is the platform to do it on. Mm-hmm. You know, this gives you that opportunity to voice exactly what you're feeling. So then that way we know how to help you or get the help that you need by, you know, resourcing you to somebody else.
Yeah, and let's put the disclaimer out there that this ain't a therapy session. This is not a self-help group. This is not fix me now advice or anything like that. This is just getting that conversation started, and then hopefully something encouraging can be said.
Yeah, because, you know, how do you start a conversation if you don't know how? Mm-hmm. And so this is where we help out and help start the conversation, because some people don't want to ask the questions, but we'll ask those questions that are on people's hearts and get the conversation flowing.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you look at a lot of people walking around right now, we don't have a number to put on it, but I would guesstimate, and I'm doing a very rare guesstimation here, that at least 7 out of 10 people are dealing with some type of issue on a daily and regular basis. They have issues that break their heart. They have issues that they need encouragement for. They have issues that they want to know that someone cares and loves them. And generally, that's what I see with a lot of people that I talk to and deal with on a regular basis. They don't want you to fix their problem. They just want you to know they got something to say and that they need love.
Well, look at social media and how that's interrupted the real conversations that we used to have. Now, you and I grew up in an era where we would sit down and talk. Mm-hmm. We played cards, we do other games and things like that. And we had that conversation face to face. Nowadays, it's real simple to hide behind your phone or computer screen and just text whatever you want and not have any sort of emotional attachment to that person.
Yeah, and that's another important piece of it. Me and my wife, we went out to dinner on last week, and we sat around and we looked at all the people that were in the restaurant, and if they weren't talking to each other for a minute, 2 minutes, then they were on their phones. And whatever they were doing, that they weren't really engaging and trying to build those healthy and happy relationships. But one thing that I noticed is that, like me and my wife, so our healthy relationship can stay if we put the phones down, and we talk to each other. So that helps our souls get to know each other.
Well, let's look at the kids. If you take their phone or their social media away from them, because of them doing something wrong, they about have a meltdown simply because, it's like, you can't do that. That's my friend. That's my lifeline and everything.
And I know what someone's going to say. Well, you guys are hypocrites because you're using social media to get this across, and you're using social media to do that. Well, yeah, because of the lack of engagement that a lot of people have right now, the first and foremost piece of engagement that everyone has is their devices.
Well, you stop and think. If we're going to be like Jesus, Jesus went to where they were. We don't expect them to come to us. So we got to meet them on their platform, on their level, and reach them the way that they're used to being reached, and then teach them, how to communicate with one another.
Yeah. I heard a young man say today, I just want to reach my generation. I want to reach my generation. Well, I can sympathize with him because I want to reach my generation, and I want to reach his generation and a generation behind that. We need to show people they are not as broken as they think they are.
Right. And you also have to ask that question, okay, so you want to reach a generation, but what do you want to tell them? What sort of message do you want to share with them to reach them? Where do you see them being lost, or where do you see them going down a wrong path, and how do we deal with it?
But is it really us telling them or them telling us?
It's a combination of both, because that's the way conversations are. They invite us. See, we get invited into their conversation because we build up a rapport or a trust. And when they feel like they can trust, and this is what happened with you and I, when we first got together, you gave me a little bit of trust and wanted to see if I would take and betray it like everybody else has, or if I would be someone that you might be able to believe in.
Yeah, and that is important. Trust is definitely an important piece of healing that bridge between healthy and unhealthy, because even I'm a therapist, and the one thing that we try to build first is that trust factor between us and the patient. And that trust factor, it goes a long way, not just between a therapist and a patient, between a mother and a daughter, a father and a son, a friend and a friend, a stranger and a stranger. How do we get this information across? How do we get the point understood that you don't have to be broken?
And how do we get the nerve to even begin a relationship?
Yeah, that says a lot. How do we get the nerve to begin a relationship? Many people in relationships right now do not know how to have healthy relationships. They either got poor models, poor information, or poor direction. Okay? And so now when you find that, then you're saying, okay, this was broken, that was broken, and this was broken. So how do I make sense of out of all this brokenness and then call myself healthy? How many original, genuine people do you see walking around right now? I mean, we go into big box stores and everybody's buying the same shirt, pair of pants, or whatever the case may be. We go online, everybody's buying the same blouse and headscarf, just like everyone else will be. And then as soon as the next fad moves in, let's be this person too. And so what we do, we hide our brokenness compounded on similarities, and we don't find the genuine aspect of who people really is. I like being me. I love me some me. Okay.
Yeah. And with me, I'm crazy.
Yes.
So I'm one of those outliners that, don't follow the beat of the same drum.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. How can we be who we are and still hold respect for who we are? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's another thing that healing broken souls is going to be about. Where's the ethics and morality in the things that we're doing right now? Everybody's making their own rules. Everybody's making their own standards and saying this is the right way to do it. And we're passing this on from generation to generation. And so now not only are we breaking them, but we're confusing them.
Well, sure. I mean, if you look at the last verse in Judges where it says everybody did what was right in their own eyes, we definitely see that alive today.
Yeah, and that's an important piece of scripture. But, the one thing that I look at is, where it says man born of a woman, his days are few. I don't want to spend the few days that I have left trying to pretend I'm happy. I want to be happy in the day that I'm in. I want to be glad in the day that I'm in. I want to enjoy it with my wife. I want to enjoy it with my sons. I want to enjoy it with my daughters. I want to enjoy it with my grandkids and make them better than I was yesterday. Everybody know I'm such a cartoon fanatic. I got this one favorite cartoon. Here we go. The great cartoon.
Which one?
Naruto Shippuden. It's a Japanese animation, but I love it. But one of the statements that was made in this series was, I want to be better than I was yesterday. Okay. And so believe it or not, I've taken that aspect into my clinical world, telling people, you know what, you can be better than you was yesterday. You can be happy than you was on yesterday. And so I think this is a pathway. This is a way to get to helping people heal their broken heart and be happy as they mend whatever's bothering them.
Well, you've always heard me say, whatever you focus on, that's what you see. And I see a lot of people focusing on the negative more than the positive. And of course, that's what you see if you're focused on it. When we look at people looking for things that are lost, they're looking for one specific thing, and they're missing everything else around it. So, in the book of Luke, in Luke 15, they call that the lost chapter because they're looking for lost items. And it's like, when they're looking for a lost treasure, how many other treasures are lying around that they're overlooking because they're so focused on that lost one?
Yeah.
And in today's world, we have a lot of people that are missing out on so much beauty, so much joy in their family because they're focusing on the negativity more than the positive.
Yeah, and that's so important, What beauty are you missing trying to live this life? The one thing about it is, if a person hurts you or break you in a certain way and you hold that in and you don't tell them why you're broken and you miss the opportunity to take that beauty and correct it and make it healthy again. And you go for years and years and years not knowing that you broke them in some shape, form, and fashion. And so you just destroy a perfectly good relationship. But then, too, the people that are broken can't be the one to say, okay, well, I'm not listening. You have to be willing to take the information or the help and make you better. I learned a long, long time ago. My mother said, can't nobody make you happy. Okay. First, you got to make yourself happy. Then you got to be happy living with you. And then anybody else can live with you after that. And that's the whole thing about it. What is it? 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter said, love conquers all.
Yep.
Yeah, love is kind. But it also gives a description of what love is not.
Yes.
Okay. And so what we have to find a happy medium is that we can't fool ourselves into pretending we're happy when we're broken and then saying, okay, I'm fine.
Well, how many of us are struggling with even opening up the relationship because we've been broken so many times? You know, just when you thought you couldn't be broken anymore, all of a sudden you get shattered even more and those shards go all over the place and you're feeling like you've lost it all.
You just brought back a crazy memory to me. I remember being a little boy in Chicago walking down like 47th Street, 43rd Street, and all the broken bottles that we used to see walking up and down the street. And what you just said brought about that memory. And one day I remember being about 12, 13 years old. I said, I wonder how many of these bottles, all these pieces of glass would make a bottle. But because there was so many and was just skewed down the street, and you could hear your feet crunch the glass as you went. And just imagine that's somebody broken that you're walking over, you know. So yeah, that's pretty good there.
Yeah, you know, we're afraid to, because we're afraid to get our heart broken. And I know that I actually took, when I was a teenager, I was broken so much that I took a time and said, I am not going to love anybody. If you would have told me, hey, I love you, Johnny, it'd be like, okay, yeah.
Don't say that too loud, you know. I want to keep my man card, okay?
Well, we got man cards, but, you know, we got that brotherly love thing going on.
All right, just let me keep my man card.
Hey, no, we both got man cards.
Okay.
But the thing is, you know, I would reject it because I was afraid that I can't survive another broken heart.
All right. So this is why we're doing Healing Broken Souls. Healing souls is what healed soul is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we hope that you continue to listen and continue to be encouraged by some of the things you're hearing or going to hear.
And we want you to also be interactive with us as well. So as you're watching or listening to these and something comes up and you're saying, hey, I want to know about this, why not contact us and let us know what your questions are, the topics are, so that we can help meet you where you are at and be able to address the things that you would like to talk about.
All right. Peace out.
Look around, we need hope. Dark world, we need hope. Broke world, we need hope. We all need hope, need hope.